Tonight, we are going to leave the world you know behind. We are going to drift away from the noise, the lights, and the solid ground beneath your feet. We are going on a journey to find the true edge of scale, a journey to understand just how small we really are. Close your eyes and picture the Earth. Picture it not as a map or a globe sitting on a desk, but as the massive, physical reality you experience every day. To a human being, Earth feels infinite. If you were to walk along the equator, placing one foot in front of the other, without stopping, without sleeping, it would take you nearly a year to complete the circle. The oceans seem endless. The mountains rise like eternal giants piercing the sky. From the surface, this planet is everything. It is our entire universe. But this sense of size is an illusion. It is a trick played on us by our own smallness. To break this illusion, we must rise up. Imagine you are lifting off from the surface. As you ascend, the cars and houses vanish first. Then the cities become glowing webs of amber light. The mountains flatten into wrinkles on a rug. The oceans become simple patches of blue paint. By the time you reach the International Space Station, orbiting 250 miles up, the Earth reveals its first secret. It is finite. You can see the curve. You can see the thin, fragile line of the atmosphere, a delicate shell of gas that separates all of life from the cold vacuum of death. But we are not stopping here. We are going further. Our first destination is our closest companion, the moon. It hangs in the night sky like a silver lantern looking close enough to touch. Sometimes it looks large enough to fall on us. But this, too, is an illusion of perspective. The journey to the moon is a journey across a terrifying emptiness. The average distance between Earth and the moon is about 239,000 miles. To understand this gap, imagine you could line up every other planet in our solar system: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. You could place them all, side by side, in the space between Earth and the moon, and you would still have room to spare. Think about that. The giant Jupiter, the ringed Saturn, all of them fitting in the gap we cross, just to reach our nearest neighbor. When we finally arrive at the moon, we land on a silent gray world. It is a graveyard of ancient craters, unchanged for billions of years. It is smaller than Earth, about 1/4 the size. If Earth were a basketball, the moon would be a tennis ball. Standing here on this dusty, airless rock, we turn around and look back. And there it is. Earthrise. From here, our home is no longer a vast landscape. It is a marble, a swirling blue and white marble suspended in a crushing darkness. You can cover your entire home, everyone you love, every war ever fought, with the tip of your thumb. It looks peaceful. It looks fragile. But most of all, it looks lonely. This is where the true scale of the cosmos begins to reveal itself. Because as we look past the moon, out into the velvet black, we realize that the Earth and the moon are just two tiny rocks huddling together for warmth near a fire. That fire is our sun, and compared to what we are about to see, the distance between Earth and the moon is not even a step. It is barely a flinch. The silence here is absolute. There is no wind. There is no sound. Only the slow, rhythmic breathing of the universe. And out there, 93 million miles away, the sun is burning. It is calling us. It is time to leave the safety of the Earth-Moon system. It is time to face the giants. As we drift away from the moon, watch the Earth get smaller. It shrinks from a marble to a pea, then to a grain of sand, and finally to a mere point of light. We are now in deep space. The vacuum is cold, and the distances are about to become incomprehensible. we are heading toward the sun. But to understand the sun, we must first understand the emptiness that surrounds it. We are not just traveling through space, we are traveling through time. At the speed of a jet airliner, it would take us 19 years to fly from the moon to the sun. 19 years of nothingness. 19 years of staring into the void. But we will move faster than that. We will glide through the darkness, passing the orbits of Venus and Mercury, until the heat begins to rise, until the light becomes blinding, until we are face to face with the engine of our solar system. This is the end of the beginning. The Earth is gone from our view, lost in the glare. We are alone in the dark, and the monster is waiting. We are now face to face with the sun. To call it a fire is an insult to its power. It is a roaring, living ocean of plasma, 1 billion times hotter than any flame ever struck on Earth. It is so large that the human mind struggles to hold the image. Imagine a hollow sphere of transparent glass the size of the sun. You could pour more than 1 million Earths inside it, like pouring sand into a bucket. 1 million worlds, 1 million homes, all lost inside this single star. If you were to drive a car at highway speeds across the surface of the sun, it would take you more than 5 years just to drive around its waist once. It dominates everything. It holds 99.8% of all the mass in the solar system. The planets, the moons, the asteroids, the comets, all of them combined are just the leftover dust from the sun's creation. From this vantage point, Earth is invisible. It is lost in the blinding glare, a speck of dust floating in a sunbeam that no one can see. The warmth you feel on your skin on a summer day traveled 93 million miles to reach you, but here, the energy is terrifying. It is the engine that drives the wind, the rain, and the life of our world. Yet, the sun does not care. It burns with a stoic, indifferent fury, consuming 600 million tons of hydrogen every single second. But we must move on. We must turn our backs on the fire and face the cold again. We are traveling outward, toward the realm of the giants. Leaving the sun, we pass the rocky inner worlds quickly. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. They are clustered together like pebbles near a campfire, but once we cross the orbit of Mars, the universe changes. The distances between objects stretch out. The silence gets deeper. We enter the dark gap between the inner and outer solar system. Here, in the cold darkness, we find the king. Jupiter. If Earth is a marble, Jupiter is a beach ball. It is massive, a swirling tapestry of storms that have raged for centuries. The most famous storm, the Great Red Spot, is an anticyclone larger than our entire planet. You could drop Earth into that red eye, and it would vanish without touching the sides. Jupiter acts as a shield, its massive gravity catching comets and asteroids that might otherwise threaten our tiny home. It is the silent guardian of the solar system, a failed star that never quite ignited. Drifting past Jupiter, we find the jewel of the night, Saturn. Saturn is lighter than water. If you had a bathtub large enough, this giant planet would float. But it is the rings that captivate us. From Earth, they look solid, like a disk of gold. But from here, up close, we see the truth. They are not solid at all. They are made of billions of pieces of ice and rock, ranging from grains of sand to the size of houses, all dancing in a perfect, silent ballet around the planet. These rings are vast. They stretch out for hundreds of thousands of miles. Yet, they are razor thin. In some places, they are only 30 feet thick. Think about that. A structure wide enough to fit several Earths, yet thin enough to walk through in a few seconds. It is a ghost structure, ethereal and fragile, held together by the delicate fingers of gravity. As we drift further, the sun becomes smaller and smaller. It shrinks from a blinding ball of fire to a bright coin, and then to a brilliant star. The light grows dim. The warmth fades. We pass Uranus and Neptune, the ice giants, frozen in their eternal, lonely orbits. Neptune takes 165 Earth years to circle the Sun just once. Since it was discovered by humans, it has only completed one full lap. Seasons here last for 40 years. It is a world of slow, dark time. And now we reach the edge. We are passing the orbit of Pluto, venturing into the Kuiper Belt. This is the attic of the solar system, filled with frozen relics from the dawn of time. It is dark here. The Sun is now just a very bright star in a sea of other stars. If you were standing on an asteroid here, you could read a book by starlight, but you would feel no heat. We are following the path of the Voyager 1 spacecraft. Launched in 1977, it is the most distant object ever made by human hands. It has been traveling for nearly 50 years, moving at 38,000 miles per hour. Yet, in cosmic terms, it has barely left the front porch. It will take Voyager another 30,000 years just to pass through the Oort cloud, a shell of icy comets that surrounds our solar system. 30,000 years of silence. 30,000 years of drifting through the void before it even brushes the space between the stars. Look back one last time. Can you find Earth? It is gone. From this distance, our home is too small to be seen by the naked eye. We are a microscopic speck suspended in a sunbeam, shrouded in a darkness so vast that it swallows all sense of direction. The solar system, which felt so huge when we started, is now just a tiny island in a much, much larger ocean. We are about to leave the shore. We are about to jump into the interstellar deep. The distances we have traveled so far, billions of miles, are nothing. They are zero. The true scale of the universe is about to open up, and it is going to make the solar system look like a single grain of sand on an endless beach. Turn around. Face the stars. The abyss is waiting. We have now left the safe harbor of our sun. We are drifting in the deep, silent ocean between the stars. This is interstellar space. The darkness here is not just an absence of light. It is a physical weight. It presses against the hull of our imagination. To understand where we are, we must change our ruler. Miles and kilometers are useless here. They are too small, like trying to measure the Pacific Ocean with a teaspoon. Here, we measure distance in time. We measure in light years. A beam of light moving at 186,000 miles per second takes over 4 years to travel from our sun to its nearest neighbor, Proxima Centauri. 4 years. If you could fly on a commercial jet, it would take you 5 million years to get there. Look out into the black. Do you see that faint red dot? That is Proxima. It is a small, dim red dwarf star. It has its own planets, perhaps even its own oceans, huddled close to its weak warmth. But between us and it, there is nothing. Just dust, cold gas, and the endless, terrifying void. If our sun were the size of a grapefruit in New York City, Proxima Centauri would be another grapefruit in Los Angeles. And in between them? Nothing. No landmarks, no rest stops. Just 3,000 miles of empty space. This is the true nature of our galaxy. It is not crowded. It is mostly empty wilderness. But now let us pull back even further. Let us rise above the plane of the stars. As we ascend, the darkness begins to fill with light. One by one, the stars ignite. Sirius, Betelgeuse, Rigel. They appear not as lonely dots, but as part of a great flowing river. We are looking at the Milky Way. From this high vantage point, our galaxy looks like a spinning city of light. It is a spiral, beautiful and perfect, stretching 100,000 light years across. It contains more than 200 billion stars. 200 billion. Every star you have ever seen in the night sky, every constellation you learned as a child, is just a tiny patch of the local neighborhood. They are just the houses on our street. The galaxy itself is a metropolis. And where are we? Where is the Earth in this glittering city? We are nowhere near the center. We are out in the suburbs, in a quiet, minor spiral arm called the Orion Spur. We are meaningless tenants living in the quiet countryside of the galaxy. If you were to shrink the Milky Way down to the size of the continental United States, our entire solar system, the Sun, Jupiter, Pluto, everything we have ever explored, would be smaller than a quarter. A single coin dropped in the middle of a vast continent. And Earth? Earth would be microscopic, invisible. Watch the galaxy turn. It moves with a slow, majestic grace. Our Sun is orbiting the center of this wheel, moving at nearly 500,000 miles per hour. But the galaxy is so huge that it takes 230 million years to complete just one lap. The last time our Sun was in this part of the galaxy, dinosaurs were just beginning to walk the Earth. The time before that, there were no animals on land, only fish in the sea. We are travelers on a great cosmic carousel, spinning through the dark eons of time. Looking at the Milky Way from the outside, it feels complete. It feels like the whole universe. It is a swirling island of gravity and light floating in the void. Surely this must be everything. Surely there cannot be anything bigger than this. But the universe is a master of illusions. As we drift away from the spiraling arms of our home galaxy, the lights begin to fade. The Milky Way shrinks. It becomes a patch of haze, a smudge of white in the black. We are about to learn the most humbling lesson of all. We are about to learn that even our galaxy, with its 200 billion suns, is just a speck of dust in a room that is far, far larger than we ever dared to dream. The true scale is waiting. And it is terrifying. We are now drifting in the intergalactic void. The darkness here is absolute. The Milky Way, our massive home of 200 billion stars, is now just a smudge of light in the distance, no bigger than a contact lens held at arm's length. But we are not alone here. Emerging from the shadows is a twin, Andromeda. It is a spiral galaxy even larger than our own, glowing with the light of 1 trillion suns. It is beautiful, silent, and terrifyingly close. In this deep silence, these two giants, Andromeda and the Milky Way, are falling toward each other. They are locked in a gravitational dance that has lasted for billions of years. They are not static islands. They are ships crashing in slow motion on a dark sea. Together with about 50 other smaller galaxies, they form what we call the local group. This is our cosmic neighborhood. It spans 10 million light-years. To cross it at the speed of light would take longer than the entire history of the human species. But even this is small. Let us accelerate. Let us pull back until the local group, Andromeda, the Milky Way, all of it, shrinks into a single point of light. We are now looking at the Virgo supercluster. Imagine a swarm of fireflies in the middle of a dark forest, thousands of them buzzing and glowing in clusters. That is what we see now. Each dot of light is not a star. Each dot is an entire galaxy. Each dot is a collection of billions of worlds, billions of histories, billions of potential lives. If the Milky Way were a single coin sitting on a sidewalk, the Virgo supercluster would be the size of a large city. We are lost in this city. Our home galaxy is just one window in one building in a metropolis that stretches for over 100 million light-years. But the universe has one more secret to reveal at this scale, a secret that wasn't discovered until 2014. We used to think the Virgo supercluster was separate. We were wrong. As we continue to zoom out, we see that the Virgo supercluster is just an arm, a tiny appendage attached to something far greater. We are looking at Laniakea. In the Hawaiian language, Laniakea means immeasurable heaven. And looking at it now, you can see why. It is a river of light. It contains 100,000 galaxies. They are flowing like water, streaming across the dark universe, all being pulled toward a mysterious gravitational center called the Great Attractor. We are inside this river. Our tiny Milky Way is just a droplet of water in this cosmic waterfall. And yet, even Laniakea is not the end. As we pull back to the furthest edge of our imagination, the structure of the universe finally reveals itself. It does not look like random chaos. It looks like a web, the cosmic web. Great filaments of light stretch across the darkness, connecting clusters of galaxies like neurons in a giant brain. Between these filaments are the voids, bubbles of pure emptiness, hundreds of millions of light years across, where absolutely nothing exists. At this scale, the word small loses its meaning. The Earth has vanished long ago. The Sun is gone. Even the Milky Way has disappeared. We are looking at a structure so vast that it makes galaxies look like atoms. We have reached the limit of what the human mind can grasp. But we have not reached the limit of what exists. There is one final boundary left to cross, the boundary of time itself. We are about to look at the edge of the universe. We have zoomed out so far that the galaxies themselves have melted into a fine mist. We are floating in a sea of darkness and light, looking at the grandest structure that exists. But there is a limit to what we can see. There is a wall. It is not a wall of stone or metal. It is a wall of time. The universe is old, about 13.8 billion years old. That is a long time, but it is finite. And because light takes time to travel, looking out into space is exactly the same as looking back in time. When we looked at the moon, we saw it as it was 1 second ago. When we looked at the sun, we saw it as it was 8 minutes ago. When we looked at Andromeda, we saw it as it was 2 million years ago, back when early humans were just learning to walk upright. But now, at this extreme scale, we are looking back to the beginning. Imagine a giant sphere surrounding us. This sphere is 93 billion light years across. We call this the observable universe. It is a bubble of reality. Everything inside this bubble is visible to us because there has been enough time since the Big Bang for the light to reach our eyes. But outside this bubble, darkness. It is not that there is nothing there. In fact, most scientists believe the universe continues on forever, stretching out infinitely beyond our vision. But the light from those distant regions hasn't had enough time to reach us yet. They are cut off from us forever. There are galaxies out there that we will never see. Stars that will burn and die without ever sending a single photon to Earth. Entire civilizations could rise and fall in the dark, and we would never know. We are trapped in our own little bubble of light, drifting in an infinite ocean that we can never explore. And inside this bubble, the numbers are numbing. Astronomers estimate there are 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe, 2 trillion islands of light. If you were to count them one by one continuously, it would take you 60,000 years just to finish counting. And remember, each of those galaxies contains hundreds of billions of stars, and around those stars orbit planets. And on some of those planets, perhaps, there are eyes looking back at us, wondering the same things we are wondering tonight. But let us try to grasp this number. Let us try to find Earth in this madness. If the entire observable universe were the size of the Pacific Ocean, Earth would not be a whale. It would not be a fish. It would not be a drop of water. It would be smaller than a single molecule of H2O hidden in the deepest trench. At this scale, our home doesn't just look small. It looks non-existent. It looks like a statistical error. A ghost. And yet we have one final shift in perspective to make. A shift that changes everything. Because so far we have only looked at space. We have measured miles and light years. But we are creatures of matter. We are made of atoms. And if you want to understand the true strangeness of our size, you have to look down. You have to look inside. We are about to dive into the microscopic universe to see where the real empty space is hiding. Look at your hand. It looks solid. It feels firm against the bedsheets. But this, too, is an illusion. If we were to zoom in on your skin, past the cells, past the molecules, down to the atoms themselves, we would find a shocking surprise. Atoms are not solid building blocks. They are mostly empty space. Imagine an atom enlarged to the size of a giant football stadium. The nucleus, the center of the atom where almost all the mass is, would be a single marble sitting on the 50-yard line. And the electrons? They would be tiny gnats buzzing in the highest seats of the stands. Everything in between, the field, the rows of seats, the air, is nothing. It is empty void. You are made of atoms, which means you are made of emptiness. In fact, if you removed the empty space from every human being on Earth, all 8 billion of us, and squeezed just the solid matter together, the entire human race would fit inside a volume the size of a sugar cube. We are ghosts. We are made of the same silence that fills the space between the stars. The universe is not just around us, it is inside us. We are the void, given shape for a brief moment in time. So here we stand. We are smaller than a pixel in the galactic image. We are made of empty space. We live on a fragile rock that is vanishingly rare, drifting in a hostile, infinite ocean. It sounds terrifying. It sounds like we do not matter. But there is one final perspective, the most important one of all. Think about the odds. Out of the trillions of galaxies, out of the septillions of stars, out of the chaos of the Big Bang, the atoms in your body came together. They were forged in the hearts of dying stars. They drifted through the cold for eons, and somehow, against all probability, they assembled into you. You are the universe waking up. A rock cannot wonder about its place in the cosmos. A star cannot feel the warmth of a blanket. A galaxy cannot dream. But you can. You are the only part of this massive dark machinery that is capable of knowing it exists. Size is not the only way to measure value. The sun is massive, but it cannot think. The galaxy is wide, but it cannot love. Earth may be small, a pale blue dot, as Carl Sagan called it, but it is the only place we know of where the universe has opened its eyes. So tonight, do not let the scale of the universe make you feel insignificant. Let it make you feel free. If Earth is just a speck of dust, then so are your worries, your anxieties, your fears, your deadlines. They are microscopic. They do not register on the scale of the stars. In the grand view of deep time, your only job is to exist, to breathe, to witness the glory of the show. You are safe here. You are held by gravity, protected by the atmosphere, warmed by the nearest star. You are a child of the cosmos, drifting on a quiet raft in the endless dark. The journey is over. We have traveled from the surface of the earth to the edge of the observable universe and back into the atoms of your own body. We have seen the monsters, the voids, and the fires. And now it is time to rest. Let the darkness wrapped around the earth wrap around you. Let the silence of space quiet your mind. The stars will keep burning while you sleep. The galaxy will keep turning. The universe will hold you just as it holds the planets and the moons. You are small, you are precious, and you are home. Drift away now into the deep, quiet, endless night. Good night.